Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and a new video. In this video we're going to pick up where we left off from a previous video where we did the thermostat housing. What I want to do is while the water's out the engine, I want to take the radiator out, just give it an inspection and a good flush through, because when we did the thermostat, when we changed the thermostat, it was a little bit sludgy and just general sort of build up of rubbish in it. So I think what we'll do is we'll get the radiator out and probably have to take the intercooler off as well. We'll give it a good flush through, and we'll also clean up the cross panel, the panel across the bottom of the radiator. I'm hoping it will clean up quite nicely. It just looks very grubby, but I think what we'll do is we'll get some tools out and we'll crack on. So I think to start with, we need to disconnect all the hoses, the turbo hoses off the intercooler, radiator hoses, and drain whatever water's left in the radiator out, and then we can look at taking it out. Let's get on. Okay guys, so I've got the pipes disconnected, and these clips were a right pain to get undone. But if you can see, I don't know if you can see that, they are the original Ford Jubilee clips. But I mean that one's a little chewed up. Oh, sorry, and the one down there, I don't think it's ever been off. But I can't imagine it's not been off in its time, because the radiator, I mean, it looks okay. There's a little bit of a dent there, but obviously we can inspect it a bit more when we get it out and flush it through, just see what comes out of it. I've undone the little one on the side there. So it's just a case now. I think we have to take the fan off, and then potentially the intercooler comes off, and then unbolt the radiator, and I think the radiator comes out through the front. Again, I mean, it's the first time I've ever stripped an Escort down, so it's a little bit of a learning curve for me, but I'm sure we'll get there. Right, on to the next bit. Right, so we've got the all the pipes off the radiator and the intercooler. So what we're going to do now is undo the bolts for the intercooler, take that out, and then undo the bolts for the radiator, hopefully take that out. But today I've got my eldest son.
Hello.
He's going to give us a hand. Yep. With undoing a few of the bolts. He wants to get involved a little bit.
Yeah.
So what I might do is just put you on time lapse while I guide him through what we need to do.
Yeah, sure.
Okay guys, so we've undone the radiator fixing there and one there. and it seems to hook in on the radiator at the top. And we managed to undo this fixing, and Zach managed to get the fixing out, the bolt out there, but we had to take the headlamp out to create a bit more access. But what I have noticed is a little bit of rust coming through there, and a little bit there. So I think what we'll end up doing is stripping the other headlamp out, and then we'll clean all this front up. But we've come into a bit of an issue with the, where is it? The fixing. Yes, down there. Can't really fix it. There we go. Is that going to clear it? Get focus a bit better? Right, there's a bolt at the bottom of the intercooler here that holds this intercooler to the radiator, and it's exactly the same as this one, but the head's rounded off. So I'm not quite sure how we're gonna get that out yet. Yep. We're not quite managed to put that one out yet, unless we try and take the whole radiator and intercooler out together. If it comes out together, we've just got another bolt to undo, I think below the pipe down there. So we'll get that undone, and we'll see if we can wrestle it out a little bit. Right guys, I've been trying to get this radiator out and intercooler out together as one, because I can't get that bolt undone, and it's literally an inch too long. I've undone the horn, dropped it down just to give us a bit more room to shove it over, but it just will not come out that way. I presume it comes out in two pieces. So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to try and get that bolt undone. So yeah, I'll probably put a time lapse, or I don't know whether I'll be able to get you guys in there, but what I may end up doing is breaking back in once we've done it. Okay, so I couldn't get it undone with any sort of grips or a spanner or a 10mm socket, because the bolt was just rounded off. I think it was just in so deep I couldn't get on it. So what I did is I cracked out the old Dremel, or the Walrus version, if any of you remember Walrus. Yeah, and ground the head of the bolt off. So now we are free. So now we can take the radiator out and give it a good flush through. Right, let's see if it comes out now. It's off the intercooler. Spin that around a little bit. There we go. We'll try this way. Oh, it's a bit of a pickle to get out. Still not easy to get out, is it? What if we take the intercooler out the top first? We didn't do too much damage to it, just I think when we bolt it back up, we just put a washer over that and bolt it up. But the intercooler still looks in good condition. We just give it a good clean up before it goes back in, and maybe give it another coat of paint, spray it black again. Out comes the radiator at last. It seems to be fairly good. What we do is we give it a flush through and see what the flow's like. And oh, just dropped it. That didn't do it any good. Hopefully it'll dry up some of the rubbish inside. But what I think we'll do, let's just turn you around, hang on. What I think we'll do is we'll give all this a good clean up. See if we can get it back to being red again. And a bit of a tidy up. I'm going to assess what state it's in. But I don't know if you guys can see, it's just got a little bit of surfaced here and here. But what I have noticed is this panel, this front panel, looks like it's moving from this back panel, so we may have to weld that back on. That's why this wing could be the reason why the wing's moving about a bit. But as I said in a previous video, we'll probably end up taking that wing back off and just seeing what it's like behind. But yeah, pretty good so far. Right, we've got the radiator tipped up on its edge, on its side, and I'm going to put the water on in a second. I'm going to get a good flush through, and we'll see what comes out the other side. It seems to come out pretty clean, to be honest. I mean, the flow looks all right, so I think we'll be all right with this rad. Bit of a sluice. It's just I'll turn this off. Which way? That way, not that way. Right, we've got the water in there. Give it a good shake. Let's try this way now. See what that does. Flow seems to be relatively good. A bit of a clean. I think that'll do. So at least we know now it's not blocked. It seems to be fairly good condition. It was holding water. It was holding water while it was in the car. So I think we might be right. Give it another shake. I mean, we can always put a flush for it once the car's up and running, but yeah, relatively happy with that. What we need to do now is get it back in the car and hopefully get some more back in there and get it up and running, and we might actually be able to drive it out for the first time. So cool. Right guys, now we've got the radiator all flushed out, I've masking taped the ends off and the ends for the intercooler, and I'm going to give them a coat of black paint just to make them look new again. I mean, I'm going to reuse the old radiator and intercooler, because it still looks very good condition. I don't know if it's a replacement, but what I have found is that it is a genuine Ford radiator with these. So again, if any of you guys have watched my first couple of videos where I say that I don't know whether the mileage is correct on this car because it's only supposed to have 42,000 on it. Is this a good indication that this is the original radiator? I don't know. I'm hoping it is, and she has only got 42,000 on it. But I've also started cleaning up the cross member in the engine, and the alternator is the original Bosch alternator, which I will show you once we've painted all this up. I'll go in and I'll show you what I've been doing off camera just to clean the front up before all this goes back in. Let's get some paint out. Right, just got a little bit of satin black spray paint. We're going to hit the radiator and the intercooler, give her a fresh look. Let's get on. Right guys, I think you'll agree that they look a bit smarter now. They've got a bit of black, satin black paint on. There you go, just all round. I mean, this one's got a little bit of damage on it, but it was holding water, so we'll see how we go. I mean, if I need to get a new one, we will replace it, but as I said earlier, I think they're original, so it's good, it's serviceable, it looks pretty good to me. As I said, it was holding water. I even covered over the sticker, so that all looks original. Okay, so now I think it's time to get them back in the car. Okay guys, so I've cleaned up the cross member on the front of the Escort just to check the condition of it before we put the radiator back in, and it's come up quite well, to be honest. There's obviously the front cross member, and inside the front sort of valance, a little bit of something, a little bit of rust there, and just starting in the corner behind the headlamp on the passenger side there, so that will want doing. I mean, I did try the idea of starting this bit as well and cleaning it all up and giving it some paint, and before we put everything back together. But I didn't want to start this as well as start the passenger side seal. So I think what we do is we get this back in so we can get the car started again, and then we carry on with the bodywork on the passenger side, which we started in a previous video. But this is obviously the driver's side inside. Again, it's all looks pretty sound, to be honest. Oh, and if you remember the If you remember the first video where I said that looks like it's had a front valance on, the front cross member, when I cleaned the black, what looks like a wax oil off of it, there's the original paint. So I don't think it's had a cross member put in. See, so all this black stuff was painted all over it. So I got some thinners out and cleaned it all off with some thinners. And it was all like running down here. You can still see a little bit there, but that will come off with some thinners. So yeah, this all wants cutting out. But what we'll do now is we'll get the radiator back in and connect it back up and the intercooler back in, and then that way we can put some water in it, and she will run again so we can back her in and out. So I'll put it on time lapse again and we get that back in. Right, as you've seen in the time lapse, the radiator and the intercooler is all back in. It's just bolted up for now, and I've literally just put water in it just so we can start it at some point. But I assume blue antifreeze will be okay in the RS engine. I mean, drop a comment on what some of you guys have used. I think it's probably the engine's probably too old for red antifreeze, but I was always told, if in doubt, keep red out. So I'll probably just order up some blue. It's the only reason I've not put anything in it now, because I haven't got any to put in it. But I can always drain it down again and top it back up with some antifreeze. But yeah, it's all back together again. And yeah, I think it looks a little bit better. We know what state the cross member's in now, which all seems to be pretty good condition. There's obviously a little bit of stuff here to do, but we'll get to that in good time. Just got to carry on with the seals. Okay guys, I think that's enough for this episode. I hope you enjoy the channel and continue to enjoy the channel as it grows. And I'd like to thank you all for your support. Over the last couple of weeks, I've not put much content out over the last couple of weeks. It's just getting the time. I've been so busy with work, and yeah, just getting back out here and carrying on with the Escort. But now this video's out, we can get back on and get the Escort project back underway. So guys, thank you very much, and I will see you again soon.